shape. So it's not too close in, and it's a wee bit away from you. We're going to rest. You can rest your hands just on your shins, your knees, or even turn your palms up, whatever feels comfortable for you. And then you're going to sit up tall, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. So, as you're sitting here with your eyes closed, start to tune in. Tune into you. So everything else that's happened in your day, me included, we have to just park it to one side. Listen to our breath. And by focusing on the one thing, the integral part of our everyday lives, our breath, that allows us to come away from the noise, the conversation and narration in our head, in our minds. This voice that continuously dictates and very rarely shuts up throughout your day. You're always thinking about the situation you're in, or what's coming ahead, what came before, whatever it may be. So you can take back that control by just focusing on your breath, listening to the fresh air that comes into your body, where it arrives into your body and where you can take it to. Then have a little pause before then you start the journey of exhaling that air, that breath. And when you focus on your breath, you then start to slow it down. And we like to have a slow, steady breath during our practice of yoga. And this will then communicate to the nervous system that everything is calm, everything is in control. And taking your awareness, your attention slightly away from your breath, but continue to breathe in slowly and exhaling slowly. Just notice tuning into your body. Are you carrying any tension? Are you holding your shoulders tight? Are you holding the muscles in your face tight? Can you lift the chest a little bit more to help elongate the spine? Is the back of the neck nice and long? Are your hearts open? Allow the breath to help release that tension, that gripping. And perhaps bring your breath to that area of your body where you know that you feel tense, where you're holding yourself tightly. One more, slow breath in. And on the exhale, bow your chin into your chest. And then start to semicircle the nose over to the right. And then back down to center floor and then over to the left. One more time. Over to the right. And then over to the left. Back to center. Flutter your eyelids open and then lift your nose all the way up to the ceiling. Center. Chin into the chest. Center. Ceiling. Lengthen through your spine. Center, chin into your chest. Back to center, rotate the nose, no, right, and then left, right. We have an audience tonight, left. Back to center, right earlobe to right shoulder. And just holding it there. That's it. And then the other side. Stretching your neck. Lengthening your spine, keeping the heart open, shoulders back, belly in, back to center. And then slowly roll the shoulders, working into the shoulder joint. And when you bring it back, squeeze those shoulder blades together so you're really spreading the chest, opening up the collarbones as well. Good. One more. Good. shoulders to your ears. Breathe in. And on exhale, bring your shoulders back and down, but keep your hands where they are. Lovely, good. One more time, hug. And then release. Release your hands, wiggle your fingers, and bring your hands behind your hips. Now squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the heart, and little back bend, lift your gaze, look up. Beautiful. Inhale. And on the exhale, straighten the torso, release the hands. Good, coming onto your hands and knees. Coming onto our hands and knees, it's all about the steps. So we're stepping our shoulders above our wrists, shoulder distance apart, stepping our hips above our knees, knee distance, our hip distance apart. So cat-cow, dropping the belly button down, head up, tailbone up. So the belly button goes down, the head goes up, the tailbone goes up. So now you've created a little arch in your lower spine, a little valley. And then start to bring your chin into your chest. This will then allow the roundness of the spine and lots of space between you and the floor, or you and your abdomen, the floor and the abdomen. Breathing in, dropping the belly button down, creating your little valley in your lower back. And breathing out, creating a huge arch, chin in. So go now. 2 more times. Hugging the forearms in, rotating the triceps away or towards each other, opening up the chest. Not allowing the elbows to bend and straighten, Just hugging them in, keeping them nice and strong and sturdy. One more breath. In. And then out. Coming back to a flat back, a neutral tabletop. Just have your blocks and bring them over. Place them underneath or beside your hands. Well, actually, no, we'll just start with them on your hands. You're going to turn them up to the high side in a wee second. So, back to our tabletop position. We're going to go back to our cat. So, tuck the tailbone under, tuck the chin into the chest, rounding your spine in your large arch. Then take your right knee to your nose, point in your right foot. So, you're bringing your shin up towards you. Your shin up towards you. So, your right knee up to your nose, pointing your right foot. Good. Now, turn your right block to the high side, even with the knee lifted. Left block to the high side, and then step up with your right foot beyond your right knee. Okay. Thanks. Like try to stretch it out even. And then sink your hips going forward. Lengthen this way. Do that, Maria. Lengthen. Yeah, even on your knees, just lengthen the torso. That's it. Absolutely. Yes. Thanks. Okay. So, sorry, I was just showing Maria there. So, our hands are on the blocks. Knee is now, you've brought your knee forward. So, your knee should be above or just a little bit beyond your right ankle. So, we're sinking our hips. We have our hands on the blocks for support. So, this is low lunge position. And this now will start to stretch this hip flexor, this psoas muscle that comes from behind, into the quad. They're very easy. Oh, and then they're gorgeous. I know. And then pressing your left foot into the mat, so you're taking the pressure away from your left knee. Okay, good. They're very distracting though, because I'm focusing on what's happening on the mat. So one more breath, breathe in. And on exhale, keeping your hands on the blocks, we're starting to bring the hips gently back, flexing the right toes, so straightening out that right leg. Now, some of you may need to keep it bent, then please do so, but keep your foot flexed, because we're sending the messages to the brain, and eventually when this hamstring is nice and long, we can start to extend that right leg. Lifting up your heart, lift your gaze, and you can stay here if this is enough for you, or to work a little bit deeper, bending your elbows in so that they're not winging out, folding over your right leg. Okay, and breathe. So that practice that we started with at the beginning of the class, this is an important element of breath. So with that practice of breathing in slowly, in this big stretch, breathe out slowly. And this will help as well the cramping. And also magnesium is very good for cramps, if your body tends to cramp a lot. One more breath, breathe in. Now we're going to do something a little bit different this evening. Your right block moves away from you off the mat. Then take your right hand and place it to the inside of your right leg. Okay, good. Now if you need to turn the block around, place your hand on the block. Okay, your right hand on the block and your left hand on the block. Yes, so now you're twisting away from your leg. You're twisting away from your leg. Okay. Now, start to walk the hands a little bit more round to your left. So you're going round to your left knee. Okay. And then you're going to pivot. Now, if you just want to watch quickly, I know this is an awkward position, but at the same time as pivoting on my left knee, my left foot goes behind the left knee, I step up with the right. I step up with the right. And then straighten. Yeah, that's it, Kelly, that's it. I know because it's a wee bit awkward me being at the front. So you were here, and then you brought the right arm around, and then you pivot and bend into that right knee at a right angle. So have a wee look. So the right foot should be beyond and not bringing it back. It should be at an angle out to your right. So this is gate pose. Your right knee is above your right ankle, so it's not coming beyond. Okay. Good. I'm just, yeah, that's it. Yeah, and a tiny wee bit more forward if I was you with your right foot forward here. Yeah, good. Now we're not turning the right foot out all the way. What would you say that? 90 degrees? Probably about 45 degrees. And then on your left knee, you then straighten the torso and tuck the tailbone under. Good. Okay, good. The right hand goes to the inside of your right leg, the back of your right hand, so it's similar to Trikonasana. And your left hand goes to the ceiling. So your left hand, right hand to the inside, left hand to the ceiling. You're going to side stretch over, so the right hand guides you down the right leg, but you're not coming forward with the left shoulder. You keep one shoulder on top of the other, so that you feel a stretch along from your right armpit to your right waist. Good, that's it, good. Try to straighten the left arm, so it's just pressing against the right leg, and your left palm, I'll get it right tonight yet, faces down. Good, so it's a side angle stretch, gate pose. Breathe it in, breathe it out. One more. Inhale, and on the exhale, come all the way back up. Now, to be super awkward, that's it. We lower the hands to the floor. Then you come back around the way you went into it. So you pivot on that left knee again. Take the right hand across over the right leg. So you're here. So we're back to here. All right, on top of your blocks. That's it. On top of your legs. Good. Then hands on the blocks. You're going to lift the right leg up and bring it straight. Yes. Get it right. Yes. And then bend the knee. Lift it up, bend, and bring it through. Yes, there you go. So back to our cat-cow. Dropping the belly into our belly. Head up, tailbone up. Exhaling round. Inhaling belly. Hand can be on blocks or without the blocks, but just the cat-cow. Exhale round. One more. Inhale, lift. Head and shoulders, or shoulders away from the ears, but the chest is open. Exhale round. Stay in your round. Grab your two blocks. Place your hand on top of your blocks. And then take your left knee to your nose. Point the left foot. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. That's it, Margaret. Good. Now, turn the blocks to the high side. One and then two, slightly awkward. And then step up with your left foot beyond your left knee. Good. Then taking your hips forward, we're coming into low lunge. Don't forget about the right foot. It has an integral moment in this position. So you press the right foot into the floor and then lift the torso. So you might be here and then using the blocks, you're lifting the torso away from your thigh. So sinking the hips. Good. It's okay to have the knee beyond the ankle, knowing that you're only holding this pose for about roughly 5 breaths. Any longer, I would prefer that the ankle is underneath the knee. One more breath. Breathe in. And on the exhale, slowly bring in your hips back, keeping the left heel where it is, and then start to peel the left toes up towards the ceiling. We're doing this one first. So this is called Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. And then the next block we'll be doing the splits. I actually think the Ardha Hanumanasana, the half split, is equally as challenging as full splits. Because because you're leaning into it. So breathing in, breathing out, fold, or just stay up. These are all options. Good. Now because this is a big muscle on the back of the leg, breathe. You have to do your slow, steady breath. If you hold your breath, your muscles will tense. One more. Inhale. And on exhale. Okay, let's try it a slightly bit different on this side. Maybe it'll make it a wee bit easier. Take your left block with you as you take your left arm across your left leg. Good. Now walk with the blocks round to your right, and then take the right lower part of your leg, pivot, and then take the left foot up into your 90-degree angle. Is that a wee bit better? Yeah, okay, good. And then straighten the torso. So now you don't need the blocks to straighten. That's it, you've got it, Margaret. So if I was you, I would lift your left foot and bring it forward. Yeah. So that your hips are square and your leg is just out at an angle, roughly 45 degrees is probably the best of my knowledge. I would bring that foot even to here. The heel to here. Yeah, and then yes, there you go. How does that feel? Bit more secure. Left hand to the inside of your left knee, the back. Right hand to the ceiling. And then you're reaching up on the in-breath, so you're out of your hips, and then you exhale, side stretch over to the left. A wee bit hard to do when you're standing on one leg. Okay, good. That's it. Breathe. It's lovely to smile, but it's more important to breathe. In and out. Top hand faces down. That's it. Good. So this works towards Parsvakonasana. Extreme sideways stretch. So this would be Parsvakonasana. So this is the lower version. One more breath. Inhale, and on the exhale, slowly come up. Place your hands on the blocks in front, and then start to walk the blocks around, pivoting on the right knee, extending the left leg out back in front into your Ardha Hanumanasana. That's it, good. Separate. Lovely. And then a little lift. Bring it through. Yeah! You did it! You did it! Okay. See, you doubt yourself if you just say, yeah, I can do it. And then place your blocks back to the flat side. Tuck the toes with both feet under, back to your tabletop position. So if you just use the blocks for now, and then we'll take the blocks away for the next position. Is that okay? Yeah? Tuck the toes under, hover the knees to engage the abdomen. That's it. And I think most of you have gone far back on your mat. So lower the knees, and we're going to come to the front of our mat. Rather, so that we keep our feet on the mat when we go back into a lovely plank. So hover the knees, back in your tabletop, and then step back with your right leg, step back with your left leg. So a nice high plank, but the hips are in line with your shoulders. So don't forget this is plank, not downward dog. That's it, Margaret. Good. So hips are low, in line with your shoulders. You have to engage your belly, tuck in your tailbone. Place your heart up towards your spine. Gorgeous, even more breathe. Even more here. Heart towards your spine. Nope, up. Yes. And then tuck your tailbone in. That's it. Yes, perfect. Heels towards the back of the room. Lift your knees, squeeze your thigh muscles to your thigh bones. Shoulders should be over your wrist. One more breath. Breathe in. And on the out breath, lower the knees. Sit back down. Yeah, okay. A plank a day keeps the yoga teacher away. Plank is one of those poses that is so good for your whole body. Yeah? Mainly your core. It would be a core exercise. But your core is really important to keep everything else going, keep everything supported. Yeah, so it keeps your organs supported, and it also keeps your spine supported. So So if you're finding that, you know, you're slouching, it means that this here is softening. So you need to keep this active and keep the heart lifted, so the spine is lifted. So we're going to give it another whirl. Now, what I would say is there is a massive difference, and I did touch on this last week. There's a massive difference between a passive plank and an active plank. And believe it or not, an active plank is far easier than a passive plank. And what I mean by the passive is where I'm not really engaging the legs, I'm not really engaging the back body, I'm not really engaging the core or the hips, but I'm just using my arms essentially, okay? Now, when it becomes more active, the knees, tailbone is tucked, belly's in, I'm pressing my heart up to my spine, my shoulder blades are wide away from one another, my legs are super engaged, and then I can bring my heels back towards the back of the room, okay? And that, with your breath, you'll find the more you do it, same with everything, the easier you will get it, but it's so good for your body. Okay, let's give it another whirl. So hands on top of your blocks, knees underneath your hips, kind of spread your hands so that they're not just completely together. Even on your blocks, your little finger might come over the edge, and so will your thumb. Okay. Tuck the toes of both feet under. I like to hover the knees to begin with, because then that activates where you need to engage to hold that position. So lifting the knees activates the core, and then step out with your right, step out with your left. Push the floor away, lift your heart up towards your spine, tuck in your tailbone, belly in, shoulders above your hips, much better everybody, and breathe. In through the nose, and out through the nose. Try to keep your mouth closed. 2 more, in, out, squeeze, you can do it. 1 more, in, out, slowly lower the knees to the mat. Good. And take your hands away from the blocks and we'll just give them a wee stretch. Give them one wee circle, one way, and then the other way. How did it find it versus, second one versus the first one? A bit better? It's for everyone. Shake it out, shake it out. Okay, so tomorrow morning, have your mat rolled out beside your bed. Roll out of bed, 6 o'clock, and get into a plank. Okay? And then get into a Dharma jog, which we're going to do this. Oh, that's right! The bank holiday. Oh, I only wish. My mates don't believe in sleeping in at 6 o'clock. My mates don't believe in sleeping in, even on the holidays.
I know. Don't worry, another 6 years to get there. And you'll get out of bed.
Okay, so tuck the toes of both feet under, back to your tabletop, draw the navel in, hover the knees, and this time we're going all the way up into Dharma Dog. Now keep your knees bent, have your toes in line with your heels, and start to bring your torso in the direction of your thighs. Just in that direction. Good. Julie, come back a wee bit more with your feet. Okay. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Now keep your toes in line with your heels so that your knees will follow suit. They'll not be in or they'll not be out. Good. Looking at the space between your knees. Beautiful spine, Julie. Gorgeous. We want to keep the knees bent so that the emphasis is on the spine. Now, it might feel a little awkward in this position to keep your knees bent, but it's training the spine to extend and lengthen rather than round with the legs straight. Okay? So try to keep the knees bent, looking at the space between your knees. Focus on your fingers. Breathe into your fingers, press them into the mat, hug the forearms in as you would in plank and cat-cow. Rotate your biceps away. Draw the navel in as well as the ribs. Don't forget about the ribs. Engage your glutes. One more breath, breathe in, and on the exhale, lower the knees. Well done, you've held that for at least 5 breaths. I do believe the first class, 5 weeks ago, we maybe held it for 1 breath and was like, oh my god, I can't. Okay, so just goes to show you, 5 weeks later, not a problem. Okay, one more time. Now we're going to take the blocks away and see how it feels without the blocks. Just keep them beside your mat, that's it. So back to our tabletop position, so that always starts you in the right alignment. Tuck the toes with both feet under. Hover the knees away from the floor, and then start to lift hips high to the sky, sit bones high, feet hip distance apart, knees are bent, and you're looking at the space between your knees so that you know the back of the neck is nice and long. Beautiful, Kelly. Gorgeous position. Good, everybody. Wonderful. How does it feel with no blocks? One more breath, breathe in. And on the exhale, lower the knees. Fantastic. Well done, everybody, because taking the blocks away can be a little bit more challenging, okay, because you're having to lift higher, okay, to get into that position. So that was really well done. We're going to do it one more time, and then what we're going to do, when we're in downward dog, we're going to look up, and then you can choose to take a big step up, 1, 2, or in downward dog, look up, then take little steps up to reach the front, feet hip width apart and fold over your legs, okay? So rather than lowering our knees to take a wee rest, we're going from downward dog over to Uttanasana, forward fold. So, back to our tabletop position, tuck the toes under, draw the navel in a lot, hug the forearms in, press the fingers and the thumb into the mat, hover the knees. Then lift the hips up, downward dog, Adho Mukha Shavasana. One breath in. Exhale, lift the gaze. You choose incremental little steps or a big step up with the right, big step up with the left. Feet hip distance apart. And then either you can turn the blocks to the high side, rest your hands on the blocks, or take a hold of your elbows with opposite hands. So your right hand holds onto left elbow, left hand holds onto right. Options, blocks or elbows. Hover. So now what we're doing is we're creating space in the lower back. And if you feel good and it feels comfortable, sway your torso from side to side. Sway. So you're even moving and stretching and breathing into the lower back, into the glutes. One more breath. Breathe in. And on the exhale, release your hands. Just allow the arms to flop. Then start to think into the glutes, into the bum muscles. Squeeze the bum muscles. And then push the feet into the floor and roll up through your spine. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Coming to standing. All the way up into Tadasana. So, really important quickly to remind yourselves, when you're here, passively, if I come up like that, I'm not really engaging any muscles in my legs, right? So when we're going into Surya Namaskar, it's really important to, throughout the practice Surya Namaskar, to keep the legs active, yeah? So when I'm here, I think into here, this area here. I start to squeeze, okay, do you see any difference? Squeeze, and then I think into here, and then I roll up. So these are working like mad to allow this to come up safely, okay? Because if I didn't work that, came up, something would go, okay? And I'm only saying this from experience. But the more you engage this area, the easier it will be on your back so that the back is not being loaded to do all the work. And over time, it may not happen there and then, but over time, if you don't engage this will go, okay? Okay, let's do Surya Namaskar for week 5. So we're going to do from the start to the end, 12 poses, okay? Feet. Each yoga class, you will be invited to start Surya Namaskar, and I just want you to know this, so in case you go and you go, she was teaching us wrong. Okay, I wasn't. I just think that particularly for beginners, when your hips are not that open, it's easier to have your feet hip distance apart. But you may go to a class and the instructor will say, feet together, heels slightly apart, okay? For me, that's fine, but it's easier with the feet hip distance apart. It's easier on your hips, okay? So feet hip distance apart, toes in line with heels, knees lifted, squeeze the thigh muscles. So if the knees were soft, the thighs are not engaged. So lifting the knees, squeeze the thigh muscles. Tailbone, I'm exaggerating, tuck it in. So you're tucking it forward. Ribs lifted away from your hips. Lift the heart, shoulders back and down, and the hands by your sides. This position, engaging everything from the legs, is called Tadasana, mountain. You want to feel the feet bedded into the floor. And what I mean by that is you're not onto the outside edge, inside edge, the ball of the feet, the heel. The four corners of the feet are pressed equally into the mat. Breathe in and out. Inhale, rotate the palms, float them all the way up to the ceiling, and then on the exhale, swan dive. Take the arms apart, lengthen your spine as if you're going to dive off a big cliff, and then the arms come down all the way to the floor, to the blocks, bending the knees. These are all options.
or bring your hands to the floor. Okay, so the knees are bent. Half lift, the hands come to the shins or the thighs. And you straighten your spine like you're doing tabletop position. Shoulders back away from your ears. And then forward fold. Bend the knees deeply. So you're bringing your torso to your thighs. Hands to the mat. Or if you wish to introduce your blocks, these are options. You're stepping back into a plank. So step back with your right leg. Step back with your left leg into your plank. Good. Now lower the knees to the floor. We're going to do the modified option here. So lower the knees to the floor. This is called half plank. So the hands, wrists are underneath your shoulders. Half plank is where your hips are in line with your shoulders. You're not sticking the tush up in the air like tabletop. It's lower, but it's not sunk. Okay? So you're engaging your pelvic girdle. You're engaging your core. From here, we're doing our yoga press down because the elbows bend towards the back of the room, lowering your torso all the way to the mat. Keep your hands where they are. They should be either side of your chest. Roll your shoulders back. Now, straight away, when you roll your shoulders back, you squeeze the tush like you don't want something to escape. Okay? So, squeeze, 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 and then push into the floor with your hands. Lift your heart just a little bit. Not a lot. Elbows in. And then melt the chest back down. Shoulders away from the ears. Keep squeezing the glutes. Tuck the toes of both feet under. Tuck the tailbone. Draw the navel in a lot. Push the floor away. Press up. Press up. That's it. Good. Then lift your knees. Plank. And then lift your hips. Downward dog. Breathe. Keep the knees bent. Extension and elongation of the spine. In breath. 2. Out breath. In breath 3. Out breath. In breath 4. Out breath. Last one. In breath 5. And on the out breath, bend your knees deeply. Look up. Your little incremental or big steps. You choose. Stepping up to the front of your mat. 1, 2. Or little. Then you come into a half lift. Hands to your shins, your thighs. Straight spine, straight legs. Shoulders away from your ears. Breathe in. And on the exhale, fold. Fold over your legs. Inhale, you're going to rise up all the way to the ceiling. Extended mountain. Urdhva Hastasana. And then bring your hands to your heart. So that was round 1, side 1. We'll do 4 more of those, okay? Inhale, rise up. Extended mountain. Exhale, dive off your cliff, leading with your heart. Bend your knees to bring your hands to the blocks or to the floor. Folding your head, allow your head to hang heavy. Inhale, half lift, hands to shins or thighs, straight spine, straight legs, shoulders away from the ears. Engage the belly, engage your glutes. Exhale, bend the knees, hands to the floor. This time, step back with your left. Step back with your right. Plank, drop the knees, half plank. Then on the exhale, start to bend the elbows. Lower the torso all the way down. Action, shoulders, tush. Push the floor away, lift the heart. Squeeze, don't let it escape. All the way back down. Tuck the toes under, push the floor away by engaging your belly. Tucking in your tailbone. Strong arms, lift your knees, and then lift your hips, downward dog. So when you move from plank to downward dog, you might maybe step up a little bit with your feet. Yes, so the distance between your hands and your feet are a little bit narrower than it would be in plank. Looking in the space between your knees, breathe. Engage that belly, keep your ribs in. Gorgeous. Big elongation, extension of the spine. Strengthening your shoulders, your arms, your abdomen. Beautiful. 2 more breaths. Inhale, 4. Exhale. That's another thing about yoga. Teachers can't count. 1 more. Inhale. And on the exhale, bend your knees, look up. You decide. Big step, little step. 1, 2. And then inhale, straighten the spine, straighten the legs. Shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Hands together, extend the mountain. Exhale down through your midline. Side around 1, side 2.
I found this on the web.
Done. Okay, I'm going to do that. Oh my goodness, sorry. Round 2, side 1. Inhale. What did I find? Swan dive.
2, or little steps all the way back to your plank. So you find your way into plank. Drop the knees. Hug those elbows in like the two magnets coming together. Lower the heart to the floor. That's it, all the way down. So you're on your front body. This is called prone position. Prone position. Shoulders away from the ears. Squeeze the bum cheeks. Shoulders back and down. Belly in, lift the heart. So this is called an extension of your spine. Good. And then melt the chest back down. Now this is the hard part. So you tuck your toes under. Draw the navel in and tuck in your tailbone. Push up. Half plank. Elbows in, elbows in. And then lift the knees. Lift the hips, stepping up into your downward dog. 5 breaths. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale. Inhale 4. Exhale. Last one. Inhale 5. And on the exhale, big step or little step up to the front of your mat. Half lift. Straight spine, straight legs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extended mountain. Rise up all the way to the ceiling. Reach, reach, reach. Touch your fingers to the ceiling. That's it. And exhale to your heart. Last time. Okay. So this is your, essentially the start of the class, a warm-up. So it's a dynamic flow of 12 poses and it engages every part of your body. Okay. So if you do one thing in yoga, Surya Namaskar every day keeps the yoga teacher away. Okay. Which isn't good for business. Okay. It's not good for business. So anyway, last time. Inhale, rise up. So lift out of your hips. Stretch the torso that we were doing in gate pose. Swan down. Fold. Folding over your hips. Bend your knees. Hands to the floor. Half lift. Now keep going the way I've been showing you. I'm just going to show you another modified version. So from here, if you can't get into plank with big steps back, just walk the feet back. Walk the feet back. All the way till you find your plank. Then drop your knees. And to lower, if it's too much with the press up, lower onto your elbow. 1, 2. And then lower the hips and then the chest. Now once you get down onto prone position, slide your hands back to your chest. You do not have to come all the way up here with straight arms. Now this helps with strengthening the triceps. If you keep your elbows tucked in and bent, squeeze the bum cheeks, tuck in the tailbone, and just come up a little bit. So now you're engaging those triceps, the muscles in the back of the arms. And then melt the chest back down. Tuck the toes of both feet under, tuck in your tailbone, draw the navel in, get ready for the big push up. But again, if it's too much, then come on to your elbows, 1, 2. Lift your hips, and then come on to your hands. Lift the knees, lift the hips, stepping up into your downward dog. Knees are bent, spine is long. Now getting into the nitty gritty of this position, we want to spread our hands, press the fingers and the thumb into the mat. Hug the forearms and rotate the biceps away from one another. And this creates space in your upper back. Ribs in, Margaret Child's pose here. So you're still stretching, you're still lengthening, that's it. Good. One more breath, inhale. And on the exhale, bend your knees, look up. Big or little step up to the front of your mat, however you find to get there. Half lift, beautiful. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, all the way to the ceiling. Exhale to your heart. Good, 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 good. So, feet together, legs together. So, we've moved from hip distance to feet together. Then we're going to sit in our comfy chair. You can keep your hands on your heart or take them all the way up towards the ceiling. Lifting your gaze, tucking in your tailbone, lengthen your spine. So, I want you to bend the knees and make sure you can see your toes. Have your knees going over, but not all the way over your toes. Good. So you're sitting on a comfy chair. Good. Your heart is open, your shoulders is back. So I think if you find that there's too much with the arms up, take your hands into prayer. One more breath. Now from here, we're going to do a little balance pose. We're going to stay low in our chair, but take the weight to the left foot and bring the right heel towards your sit bones and point your right foot. Point your right foot. I try and fall. So bring your hands, sorry, in prayer, I beg your pardon. Hands in prayer, good. So you're in squat and you've lifted one heel towards your sit bone, squeeze. And here with that bend in your left knee, you're going to do a little bounce. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then lower down, stay in chair, okay? And then the other side. So now you're going to lift your left heel towards the bum. If it's too much, keep your toes on the floor and you can still do your little bounce for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place the foot down, stay in your chair, and then straighten. Did that feel good? In your glutes? Was your glutes going hip hip hooray? Celebrations all over? I think not. Good all the same. From here, quick one. We're going back into chair and we're going to release that right foot to the back of your mat. Coming into crescent legs, crescent legs. So you're still over, a weight bearing onto that left knee and left thigh, sorry, beg your pardon, and then straighten the torso. Reach the arms up, crescent pose. So the back heel is lifted, all 10 toes are facing the front of your mat. Good. Your 2 feet are like on railway tracks. So you can imagine your feet are on railway tracks, 10 toes facing the front of your mat. Okay? And if you find that the back foot is too far back and is knocking you off your balance, you can narrow your stance and also you can heel toe the front foot out, widening your stance. Okay? Taking your feet off the railway tracks. Good. Back leg is straight, front knee is bent. One more breath. Breathe in. Exhale, hands to your heart, lean, lower into that left thigh, and then step up. Other side. Left leg goes back. Depending on your mobility, you might go back far, you might go back less. Straighten the torso. So the right knee is bent this time, left leg is straight. Hands reach up. Now on this side, we're going to focus on the torso. So these are 2 opposing positions we're asking our bodies to do. The top half from your hips up, we're asking it to reach. And the bottom half from your waist down, we're asking it to sink. So they're working in opposite directions. Good. So we create length and space in our torso, and we create strength and stamina in our legs. Good. Beautiful breathing. One more. Inhale. And on the exhale, hands to your heart, lean and load into that right thigh, and then a big step up with the left. Good. Shake it out. Right, we're nearly there. We're nearly there. Shake it out. Last one. Big balance pose. Take our feet hip distance apart. We're going into warrior 3. Okay, so I'll just quick demonstration. The torso leans forward. The hips stay square. So we're not leaning forward into the right, taking that left hip up higher. Okay, did you enjoy that click? So the left leg goes up behind and the torso goes forward. So it's essentially a T position we're making. So the full pose is where the leg goes out behind, the torso's in front. Or it could be here, it could be here, okay? So you do you. Listen to your body. So let's work the dynamic of the pose. Feet hip width apart. Take the weight to your right foot and lift your left toes away behind. So you're not even kind of holding them on the floor, the tippy toes just on the floor. Then start to lean into it with your torso. Perhaps that left leg can come away an inch or 2. Keep your hips square. Doesn't matter how high. Breathe. And maybe release your hands back. Superman pose. One more breath. Breathe in. And on the exhale, stand up tall. Good. Yeah? So, other side. Perhaps this side we'll take our hands to our waist. Take your weight to your left foot. Lifting your right leg behind, just onto the very tips of your toes. And then lean forward with your heart. Maybe the toes stay. Maybe they don't come off the floor. That's fine. Fold forward. And maybe chance lifting the leg away. Just an inch. Let me have a look. Good. Hips are square. Good. Hold that. Beautiful. One more breath. Breathe in. And on the exhale, slowly straighten with control. Fantastic. We're going to come to the floor. Inhale. Reach up. Extend the mountain. Exhale. Swan dive. Fold forward. Bend your knees. Hands to the floor. Lower your right knee to the mat. Then your left knee. Swing your feet out to one side. And then we're going to sit down on our blocks. And back to where we started, Baddha Konasana. feet together, and a good distance away so you're creating that diamond shape. Okay? So before we started, we did our head, our shoulders sequence to loosen up the limbs. Now we're going to work a little bit deeper in the hips after all our standing positions. So bring your hands to your shins, or if you can, just below your knees. Lift your heart, and then you're going to pull on your shins, or just below your knees, to bring your heart forward, and the elbows go over your knees. So they don't go in, they don't go behind, they go over the knees. That's it. Then you fold, so you're pulling on your legs, you're folding over towards your feet. Flex your toes away from one another, so this is called a flout. Yeah, that's it. So the balls of the feet are pressing in and you're stretching your toes. Now perhaps some of you can even bring your thumbs to the little instep of your feet and wrap your fingers around the front of your feet so that you can pull on your feet, resting your forehead in that little circle with your two arches. Good, and breathe. So this is stretching the back, opening the hips, working the shoulders and the arms. Good. One more breath. Breathe in. And on the exhale, slowly roll up through your spine. Take your hands to the outside edge of your knees and bring your knees up. Good. Extend your legs. Flex your feet. Soles of the feet together. Sit up tall. Reach the arms up. And then forward fold. Now if you can't reach your toes, that's okay. Just bring your hands either side of your legs. Hold on to your shins. Lift the heart up to begin with. Inhale. And on the exhale, fold. Good. Breathe. In for 3. Exhale for 6. In for 3. Exhale for 6. One more in. And on the exhale, slowly ripple through your spine. Seat it all the way back up. And then scoot your bum forward. And now maybe just wrap yourself up before you come to line, so that you don't have to come back up again. Scooting your bum forward. Hands behind your knees. Lean back. And lift your feet away from the floor. Navasana, both poses. Good. So bring your knees together to begin with. And then take them slightly apart, hip distance apart. You can stay here, this might be enough. Or lift your ankles so that they're in line with your knees. And bring your knees into you, close. That's it. Beautiful. Now you might stay here. This is enough. You're holding this position. Or try releasing one arm or 2 arms. Good. Good. It was too much. Just hold the knees in. Just hold the knees in. Hold in this position. That's all you need to focus on. That's it. Good. Hold it. Beautiful. Breathe. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Hands behind the knees if not already there. Lower the feet. And then walk your hands down the backs of your thighs. Tuck in your tailbone so you're rolling down through your spine. That's it. All the way to the mat. Bring your knees with you into your chest. Squeeze. Rock for just a breath or 2 from side to side. And then with your hands on the tops of your knees, take your knees as far apart away from each other, just like you do in Baddha Konasana, in that seated posture. Knees are apart. Then take your hands underneath the crease of your knees, so behind your knees. And then lift the bottom half of your legs up. Okay, I know this is quite ominous and it's like, what theatre am I in? But this is actually a pose. It's happy baby pose, believe it or not.
I'm happy in this position.
Yeah. Look, mommy, I can touch my toes. So, with the weight of your hand on the back of your knees, you're bringing your thighs thighs towards your chest, but without compensating the lower back. So you don't want to curl that tailbone up to the ceiling, you want to bring that tailbone down so the spine is nice and long. Then your next option is to hold on to the calves and the shins, or if you can, reach up and hold on to the outside edge of your feet. And then with the weight of the hands on the feet, you bring your knees towards you, towards your chest. Keeping your tailbone nice and down, that's it. So you can still be on the backs of the knees, and that's okay. And then from here, you rock from side to side. This is definitely a happy baby. Reaching their toes and rocking the nut away. Okay, so if you're unsure of the position, have a quick peek up at me. And I'm going to scoot right to the front so you can see this direction. This is what it should look like. And never worry, no one is looking. No one can see you. One more breath. Breathe in. And on the exhale, back to center. Release your feet. Bring your hands to the floor, your arms to the floor, and then slowly lower your feet all the way down. And then extend your legs right. Extend your legs left. Right. Relaxation. Well done. If you have any issues with your lower back, you do not need to keep your legs straight. You can keep your knees bent and have your feet to the edge of your mat and allow your knees to come in together. So this position, this practice at the end of the class is all about relaxing. So the most important part is getting comfortable. Getting comfortable so that you, during your practice, don't fidget or move because then that's distractions. So you want to come away from your distractions. Come away from the voice coming back to chitter chatter, tell you stuff that you know or don't know, or rubbish that's repeated over and over. So your brain is also a muscle, and it deserves an opportunity to relax. And how we stop that noise, that chitter chatter, is to focus on our breath. And you can repeat the mantra if you find you are back to the conversations. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. Bring your awareness to the back of your head and relax the back of your head. Sides of your head, the top of your head, forehead, relax your frown lines. Your eyebrows, eyebrow center. Eyelids and eyes, nose, nostrils, cheeks, ears, upper lip, lower lip. Unclench your teeth. Remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Relax your jaw and your chin, throat, neck. The tops of your shoulders and your collarbones. Relax your chest and your heart. Relax your front ribs and your side and back ribs. Relax your belly button, your hips, your pelvis, thighs, knees, shins, ankles, tops of your feet, your big toes, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, soles of your feet, heels, your calves, the backs of your knees, the backs of your legs, your hamstrings, your buttocks, lower back, middle back, upper back, your shoulders, armpits, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists. Relax your thumbs, forefingers, middle fingers, ring fingers, little finger, back of your hands and the palm of your hand. The whole body, both arms, both legs, torso and head, relaxed. Every joint, ligament, tendon, fascia, every muscle, organ, cell and fibre. Allow your body to be still and relaxed. I am breathing in. I am breathing out.
You are meant to be beautiful. You are meant to colour the world, to reflect rainbow light. Let your thoughts slide off the gentleness of your presence. Go beyond limited seed-like conceptions of your tiny self. There is no more need to be and play small. Flower your mind. The spirit of this land beckons your heart forward. Coming back to your breath, the coolness of your inhale and warmth of your exhale. The expansion of your torso with your in-breath and contraction as you exhale. Become aware of your body lying on the floor and the parts of your body connected to the floor, the space that you take up in the studio and your surroundings. Tuning into the sounds outside, the sounds inside, and then taking your awareness to your hands and to your feet. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and then relax. Relax your hands and relax your feet. Engage in your belly a little, slide your heels one at a time up towards your sit bones, knees to the ceiling. Stay here for a moment, allowing your spine to adjust. And when you're ready, take your knees into your chest, holding on to either the top or underneath your knees, giving them a squeeze, and then rock your body from side to side. Coming to center, reaching your right arm up and over your head, rolling over into your right side, left hand on the floor in front of your heart. Resting here to allow your heart to settle. And then pushing into the floor with your left hand, slowly coming up with your eyes closed, finding your way to either straight legs or cross legs. And bringing your hands together. And then go up to great heat. Place them over your eyes. Open your eyes behind your palms. Squeeze them shut. Open. Squeeze them shut. Open. Look up. Look down. Look to the right, to the left. Rotate clockwise. Anti-clockwise. And then close them again behind your palms. Sitting up tall. Bring your hands together in prayer in front of your heart. If you have a little positive affirmation that you know or want to create a new one, just create a little positive affirmation that's meaningful to you. Just repeat it to yourself. Absorb it into your body. And take a deep breath in. Lengthen your heart, or lengthen your spine and open your heart. And on the exhale, bow your chin into your chest. Turn the corners of your mouth up to your eyes. Let your